So Pool A of the CSA T20 Cup or Knockout Cup, whatever you want to call it, is done. It's over. It's completed. It had Northern Cape, it had Western Province, it had the Lions, and it had Southwestern Districts. So we know that SWD, and Western Province are through to the quarterfinals. The Lions miss out on net run rate, unfortunately. All three were on the same points. And because of net run rate, the Western Province and SWD have gone through. So that's excellent from that part. I feel that SWD was from the second division. So we're going to talk about that and what that means for South African cricket. And we're going to talk about some of the top performances that happened throughout Pool A. Who are the guys that stood out? Who are the guys that did well? And how did the guys that we expected to perform, how did they perform? That's what we're going to be talking about on today's show. So guys, what I need you to do before we get started is click eye on the top of the screen. Subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine. It's all about the domestic tournaments in T20 cricket, shaping T20 players. It works hand in hand with this tournament. This tournament's actually helping us out a hell of a lot. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell for all future videos, but also go get your latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine. So let's get straight into today's content. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid Mohidin, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. I'm obviously with Aditya, my co-host, and this time around we're going to be talking about Pool A of the CSA T20 Cup. So Aditya, I thought it was quite a competitive group. It was entertaining cricket that we saw. The opening match, both teams scoring 190. It was down to the wire. Western Province coming through with that narrow win really, I think, set the tone for the rest of the tournament, because especially Zubayr Hamza getting 100, I think that just gave fans extra incentive to want to watch the tournament. You know, for me, it raised the standard of the entire thing. And now that it's on TV, it's even better. Like, everybody gets the opportunity to see these players play on TV. It was so important that they got it on SuperSport, and I think that was excellent by Cricket South Africa to do so. But let's talk about Pool A. The Lions not making it through is quite an upset for some. I think people would have assumed that majority of the Division A teams would make it through this tournament. But the way Southwestern Districts performed throughout this tournament, I think they need to get some credit and some praise. There is one particular player that I've been very impressed with, and that is Yasin Vali. And I think that Yasin has been one of the guys that often gets mixed up with the other Yasin Vali, who's currently with Western Province, actually. The other Yasin Vali was actually part of the infamous under-19 team. He was part of the setup. And he was one of those players that people looked up to and said, you know, he's going to be the next generation of, like, top talent in the future. And he kind of went missing for a while. Like, he was playing university cricket, and he was playing for his province, and we already heard about him then. So for him to come into a tournament like this and perform the way he did, against being in a group of, almost you could say, one of the group of deaths in a way, because you've got two top quality teams in that particular group that are competing against each other. For him to come out and play the way he did, excellent from his part. I mean, he was always one of those players that was spoken very highly of. Everybody, coaches, players, used to speak very highly of him. And he kind of went under the radar for quite a while. So for him to be performing the way he did, 2 half-centuries, crucial half-centuries, and actually getting them into a situation to be able to go through. What is your thoughts on the tournament, first and foremost, Aditya?
Well, it's an important tournament for South Africa to have, because they are trying to groom T20 players and ensure that the pipeline is always of a high quality, because the national team call-up can come at any time. So it's important that this tournament is taking place. And as you said, the cricket has been of a high quality. In previous shows, we've talked about the importance of conditions that are conducive to batting. So seeing scores of 170, 80, 90 is very encouraging. And of course, the highlight has been Zubayr Hamza's 100. For a player who was considered to be a white ball specialist to then be able to score 100 of 61 balls and average, what I think, 56 uh, through the course of that particular pool is very impressive. And yeah, I think similarly, bowling performances have been significant as well. But all in
Yeah.
all, the quality of cricket has been impressive.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, and that might be because of the outfield in Kimberley. Now, let's talk a little bit about the conditions. The fielding hasn't necessarily been up to scratch as we would have expected from South African teams. And that might be because of the outfield. I did see quite a lot of balls like roll and then suddenly spike up, which makes it very hard to field on the ground. There have been quite a few drop catches in this particular pool, which is unfortunate from all teams. So the fielding can be a little bit better. Sometimes it's got to do as well with the times they're playing, the light, and all of those things can also be a factor involved. But the fielding has been a bit sloppy, and I think I would like to see in the next pools. But ultimately, I think it was quite a competitive pool. Let's talk about Zubayr Hamza a little bit. I think you have to mention him being top scorer of this particular pool. The times that he scored were at critical points, and I think that's where he needs to get the most praise. It's not necessarily for scoring those milestones, it's because of when he scored those milestones. Now, he scored 100 in the first match, he got a duck in the second, and then he got a 50 in the last match, which was a must win game for Western Province to get through. So ultimately, he performed at the times when Western Province mainly needed him. And that's what I think he deserves the praise for. Similarly, with Yasin Valley, Yasin Valley was in a situation, yes, he did have Jean du Plessis, also excellent in this tournament. I think that 69 that he scored was just top notch. It's one of those things where SWD, they got Northern Cape first up, and it was a situation where I felt like it was a battle of the Division 2, which we're going to see a lot of in this pool. You're going to see the difference in the competition and the standards in cricket. And they won that one quite comfortably, I feel. I mean, for 24 runs, they've had excellent bowling performances, of course. Herschel America has been excellent throughout the tournament. And he's been consistent and he's brought energy. But when we look at the bowling, like there has been concerns with some bowlers. I mean, you look at the wicket tallies over here. I do have the performances on the screen for you. So if you guys want to look at the top performers in the tournament so far, from the batters' perspective, you can see Jean du Plessis, Yasin Valley, Zubayr Hamza are top of that list. But there has been some excellent performance all around, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I just want to go on to the bowling performances before we get into some of the other performances that I thought stood out. But Herschel America was excellent. I mean, by far the best bowler in the tournament. Like you can see the average, the economy rate, the wickets. He added a lot of energy to that SWD side. So the senior bowlers as well, I would say, like Suboto, he always comes to the party. We know that. I thought Magala in that super over was excellent. That was remarkable what he did in that particular game against Northern Cape. I think Northern Cape were kind of their own downfall in that particular match against the Lions. They put themselves in so many difficult positions to lose the match and not to win the match. It was almost like they were just surviving in that match continuously. So, I mean, the Lions ended up winning that match, and I think Magala needs a lot of credit for the way he defended that super over. It wasn't a lot that he needed to defend. When you look at the bowling all around, I mean, there weren't a lot of games where, I don't think there were any games where a team was bowled out in the match.
Yeah, and I also have to note that it's interesting to see Susander Magala as one of the top performers with the bat as opposed to the ball. He's in that stat that you just showed. But yeah, look, I think it's probably testament to the fact that South Africa needs to focus on its batting, given how bowling friendly the previous T20 challenge was, and it's a good sign. It's a sign of, I suppose, improved batting and perhaps an emphasis on producing batting friendly performances for the T20 competition. Players like Herschel America did fantastically well. to be able to take 7 wickets in 3 games at an economy rate of just 6.16. I think those are fabulous numbers.
Yeah, excellent numbers. Now, I just want to give some special mentions over here to some players that I thought personally, some of the games that I did get to watch completely. And so the ones I'm going to mention, the ones that really stood out to me. So I want to give a special mention to someone like Heath Richards. I think I saw one particular innings of his that was just phenomenal. He scored 41 against Northern Cape, and he was just remarkable. He came in at the time when his team really needed to take them to that extra level, and he just performed excellently. Some of the sixes he hit straight down the ground, a pull shot he hit for 6. Like, he was just so dominant, and I thought that was excellent to see a youngster like that perform. Like, you don't get to see youngsters like this often on TV and perform, and it was nice to get a breath of fresh air when it comes to that. He's only 20 years old, and to see a big hitting performance like that from a guy that's only 20, I'm happy that he's in the knockout stages so that we can get to watch him play again. At least we get to see him perform again now that he's in the quarterfinal. So it's not like it's the last time that he's going to get the opportunity to perform. We know that big hitters normally are guys that they perform when they need to perform and when they're most needed. And he performed when he most was needed in that particular match. I think that there needs to be a special mention to him. Another player I feel, though, and unfortunately, he's not going to be in the rest of the tournament, unfortunately, and that is Northern Cape's Evan Jones. Now, Evan, I thought, was going to be more dominant with the ball. That's where I thought he was really going to make a name himself, is with the ball. And he did. He performed very well with the ball. I think he performed quite decently with the ball, particularly against the Lions in a big match. 3 for 28. Yes, against SWD, he only got 1 for 27, but the 3 for 28 against the Lions showed what he's capable of. But then that 50 against Western Province, I mean, he was basically the main guy in that team to really take them to the next level. They were in trouble, and he really got them to a competitive total, because Western Province looked like they were dominating that match. They were going to dominate it down. They were 6 down for virtually almost nothing. And Jones took them to the next level. And it's good to see those all-rounders perform. And we need more of those all-rounders in the system. And to see him also be part of a Division 2 side, to be able to perform the way he did against a Division A side, that one of the best Division A sides, that was remarkable for me. And the way he approached his half-century, I think, was excellent. So I think it's good all around from that, from him. I think he did excellent one, and needs some praise for that. I think the signs that we saw from Bayer Swanepoel as well. I think Bayer is a guy that's been in the system for quite a bit. He's been in the system for quite some time, and that 39 not out was so important as well to get his team into a comfortable position. And yes, he didn't perform throughout the tournament consistently, and we would have obviously liked to see him perform at a high level, but we know that he's always been the type of guy that can do those type of things. He looked just remarkable. He was hitting the ball so cleanly, and it was entertaining to watch. Are there any special mentions on your side, Aditya, that you picked up from maybe looking at the results?
I think there was a lot of emphasis on the batting, just because there's been a dearth of T20 batters coming through the ranks. But I think overall, there's a lot of mention of Zubayr Hamza's century. Because, as I said previously, he was considered to be a white ball specialist, and for him to really bludgeon the bowling was unbelievable. So I think the familiar names were Zubayr Hamza, Yasin Wali, Jean du Plessis, and I think that's been the focus mainly, and it has sort of overshadowed the bowling, which has previously taken the attention away from the batting. So I think generally there's been a lot of attention given to the batters in this particular tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and ultimately we hope that some of those senior bowlers that haven't really performed well, that they can improve. The ones that have gone through now, of course, that they can improve as the tournament goes along. We saw Bjorn Hendrik struggling a little bit in the final game. Wayne Parnell in his final over, he struggled a bit. But it's good to see him be back into the setup, his captaincy. and the way he's going to be approaching things. So congratulations to Western Province for getting through and SWD for getting through to the next round. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. We're going to be bringing you interviews tomorrow and on Wednesday from some of the top performers in this particular Pool A match. The way we're going to cover this, guys, is we're going to be doing wraps of each particular pool each day. There's going to be a wrap that comes out, basically giving you guys an update on who are the top performers, etc., in the particular matches that are happening per day. And then myself and Aditya are going to interview some of the top performers in the tournament when we can get them on the show for the daily shows. So we're going to try to get as many interviews after each round. So after Pool A, now Pool A is completed, we can interview some of the guys that are going through. So we're going to try to get some of the guys that have performed well and get their views on the tournament and on T20 cricket, because we want to get more interviews about T20 cricket, the mindset, the approach, how they've changed the games to suit that, because it all falls into the bracket and the umbrella of our latest issue of the magazine. So go click the eye on the screen for that. Download it, absolutely free. All back issues free as well. You'll get an email updating you every single month when the new issue is available. Everything 100% free. No tricks, guys. No tricks at all. We just need your support. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Click subscribe on this channel, the notification bell for all future videos, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care, everybody.